Hi everybody, welcome back to the More YouTube channel. It's Chris back with another thought of the day video, and it's all about Harvey Barnes. That's right, we all know what's happened to the left-hand side of Newcastle United. It's been decimated. It's been left like a scene out of Saving Private Ryan, but Tom Hanks has not come along to save the day. No, Harvey Barnes possibly, maybe. So there's massive opportunities for players to fill in the gap that's left from Anthony Gordon with his suspension, his 3-match suspension that starts this Monday coming against West Ham, then to the Carabao Cup final, then into Brentford after that before Gordon is available. And loads of options are on the table. I've seen polls left, right, and centre. I've seen more polls than a strip club. Not that I've ever been in one of them, of course not. Cough, cough. But what is the question? Who's going to play there? I know Joe Linton I've seen mentioned, Joe Willock I've seen mentioned, but obviously the natural fit is Harvey Barnes. Now, Harvey Barnes, when we signed him, I was quite excited because I think he's a good player. He gets goals, gets assists. I remember the Leicester fans said, all he does is score goals. And we thought, well, happy days. We haven't got any players that really do that outside of the centre forward, so bring it on. But Barnes has had ups and down moments, it's safe to say, with Newcastle United in his time here. Been injured a lot as well, been inconsistent a lot. Start of the season, he scored loads of bangers. When he first came in, pre-season, he looked absolutely incredible, to be fair. He was scoring goals, he was getting assists, he looked absolutely brilliant. But the problem was, the best player that we had was Anthony Gordon, who played in exactly the same position as Harvey Barnes. If Harvey Barnes had been a right winger, problem solved. But he's not a right winger, he's a left winger. He's had to wait for a chance, really. He's been in and out of the team. He's been tried on the right. He's been tried as a second striker. He's been tried when Gordon's been a little bit off form. But now this is Harvey Barnes' big chance to step up and do the business. And that's my question with this video. Can Harvey Barnes step up and can he do the business? So let's have a look at Harvey Barnes' stats so far this season in terms of what he has done. So Harvey Barnes this season, getting into his games. So I think it's matches played is 22 all in total. 5 goals and 1 assist is what he's got. If you compare that to Anthony Gordon, 26 matches played, 6 goals and 5 assists. So 1 more goal for Gordon, which doesn't sound a great deal, but a lot more assists, which is key in terms of what he can offer as a player. Harvey Barnes probably gets more goals than he does assists, safe to say, because he's a great finisher. I think outside of Alexander Isak and Wilson, he's probably the best finisher in the squad. So he does bring a threat. He does bring a danger. He's 27 years old now. He's at the peak of his powers, really. And this is the biggest opportunity he's going to have in a black and white shirt to show what he can do. So that's my question. Let's have a look at the stats here, looking at the FB ref stats in terms of per 90 minutes for Harvey Barnes. So looking at the main kind of stats there, you can see, obviously, non-penalty goals, he's in the 97th percentile. Given the games he's played, he's got a decent return. Shots total, he's in the 83rd percentile. Assists, he's down in the 60s because we've seen that in terms of his ability to assist compared to Gordon. Obviously, his expected assist is much higher in the 89th percentile, so he does get into those positions. Passes attempted ain't a great deal. He's down in the 25th percentile there with only 30.83 passes per 90. His pass completion is quite low at 60%. He's not great with his passing the ball. He's brilliant at cutting inside and hitting a fucking raker in the top corner. He hasn't done that for a while, and my word, we need him to do that in these next 3 games, especially the big one against Liverpool. Progressive passing's in the 68th percentile. Progressive carries in the 74th percentile. He can take the ball up the park, Harvey Barnes. He started quite well against Brighton. He got that cross across the box for Isak. Should have scored that header. Could have started off brilliant for Barnes. But then he faded in the game, and that's been his biggest problem for Newcastle, is he fades in games. Successful take-ons are not good there for a winger. He's down just over 1 a game in the 25th percentile for wingers in the Premier League, which isn't the top 5 leagues across Europe, which is not particularly good. His touches, 91%. So he's right up there for that. Interceptions, he's quite high as well, 74th percentile. So he does switch on. He is aware. Tackling, he's not great. He doesn't track back very well. So that's Harvey Barnes in a kind of microcosm there in terms of what he can offer as a player. And the big question is, can he step up and can he fill the hole that Anthony Gordon is leaving? They're 2 very, very different players. I think for me, Harvey Barnes is more of a goal threat, tucking inside and unleashing one of those rakers in the top bins. He won't give you what Gordon gives you, both going forward and coming back. Gordon's been a bit off form recently, but let's have a look at Gordon's stats as per the FB ref as well. You can see his goals there aren't particularly as high in terms of the percentage like Harvey Barnes is in terms of the game ratio. His XG is up in the 67th percentile. He should really be getting more goals, Gordon, but this is where it comes in. So he gets 0.32 assists per 90 minutes. He's up in the 82nd percentile. So he's right up there in terms of key players. The other players that he kind of compares similar to on FB ref, you can see there's Bukayo Saka's in there. You've got Nico Williams is in there. You've got Christian Pulisic is in there as well. Son from Spurs and Eze as well at Crystal Palace. So he's in good company in terms of goal creators. His expected assist is much higher as well. His shot creation actions up in the 82nd percentile, which is good. His passes attempted aren't great, 54 percentile, only 37.66 a game. Pass completion is 71.6%, so he's in the 20th percentile for wingers in that regard. Progressive carries, again, he's quite high up there, 79 percentile. We know Gordon can take the ball up the pitch with pace. Touches in the 72nd percentile as well. Again, the tackling isn't quite good for Gordon. He used to be a lot better at this, I think, track back a lot more. But maybe because he's had a really good left back in the shape of Lewis Hall behind him, he hasn't had to do as much of that as he's done previously. So that might have skewed his stats a little bit there. So in terms of the two players and how they compare, there's not a massive difference between the two of them, 3 years in age as well. And as I said, I think for me, Harvey Barnes is more of a goal getter. He's more of a goal threat. He might take that burden off Alexander Isak if he comes into the team against West Ham and plays well. He's playing for a place in the final, really, is Harvey Barnes, I feel, in that West Ham game. And I think he'll start that game. Obviously, we'll do the preview in the next day or two. But I think Harvey Barnes will start against West Ham in that game. And he really needs to show up, Barnes. He really needs to show what he can do. I saw a great post on social media, and somebody basically said Harvey Barnes can transform his entire Newcastle career if he shows up on March 16th against Liverpool at Wembley and does what Harvey Barnes can do and fucking melts one of the top bins. Because once Barnes connects, ain't many keepers saving those shots. We've seen the Rakers. We've seen it against West Ham. We've seen it against Wolves earlier on this season as well. Once this lad connects, the ball is going in the back of the net. He's got a brilliant strike on him, but he's a confidence player, Barnes, and he's looked heavy. He looked like he's carrying a lot of burden with him, maybe expectation. He's not quite hit the heights that he should have hit before, and we need him to shake out of that apathy. We need him to really step up and show what a player he can be. It wasn't too long ago this lad was getting talked about as an England regular. When Leicester went down, there was loads of teams apparently were sniffing around him, and we carried the deal off. We were linked to Maddison, which might have been a better fit in terms of that creative number 10 outlet that we didn't have. But Barnes was the lad who come in. If he was a right wing, I think it would have been a brilliant deal. Again, it always them deals that you question and go, what the hell's going on? But that was when Anthony Gordon was available to play, and Anthony Gordon is not available to play right now. So if Anthony Gordon was out for a period of time, Barnes would be a natural successor to the left-hand side. And I hope that he can step up, and I hope that he can do the business. He's got a chance against West Ham, and I think if he shows up and does what he can do. I mean, this lad's got a brilliant goal-scoring record in the Premier League. It's right up there, I think, alongside better than Marcus Rashford's, I think, if you look at his kind of Premier League goal-scoring status. Let me just have a quick nosy there and see what actually comes up there. So in terms of the Premier League, Barnes has got 45 goals and 189 appearances and 29 assists. I mean, that is good. That is a decent stat there, for a Premier League winger. So you can't really complain of that in regards to that. Anthony Gordon, for example, if you look at his stats in the Premier League, Anthony Gordon's got 25 goals in 142 appearances there, So Barnes is right up there in terms of his goal-getting ability. We saw a lot more of it for Leicester than we have for us, but he's got a great opportunity now to stand up and show that he can be counted. Let us know in the comments below what you think about Harvey Barnes. Do you think he's going to take this chance? Do you think he can stand up and be counted? Or what would you rather do if it wasn't Barnes? Would you rather stick Joe Linton out on the left-hand side with Louis Miley or Willock in midfield, or Willock out left and Joe Linton in the middle? There is options there. We are going to miss Anthony Gordon massively, but there is options there to come in and do a job to step in for Anthony Gordon. Might not have the same ruthlessness effect that Anthony Gordon's had when he's right at his pomp. Hasn't been at his pomp a lot this season, but when he's at it, Gordon, there's probably no better in the league, maybe with the exception of the likes of, Salah and players like that. But the left back's the concern for me, and Harvey Barnes isn't great at defending. So I don't know what we're going to do with that left back position. If I see Dan Pitt at left back, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I really hope Eddie Howard, he said Eddie Hearn there. I feel like a fight if Eddie puts fucking Byrne at left back. Don't put Byrne at left back, Eddie, for the love of Christ. I don't know what's going to happen with Sven Botman. There's stories that he's out, he needs an operation. Then I saw he pulled somebody and said, "Don't talk shit" on social media, which I thought was a bit mental, really, to be fair, maybe a little bit unfair to the lad who did. I think it was Jordy Josh, to be fair, a little bit unfair, because he's just posted what everyone's been saying. So I don't think he did anything particularly wrong, Sven. So maybe Sven's just a bit angry and he's lashed out possibly. But I hope Botman is fit for the final. I still think he will be. I still think Botman will come back into a back three for that final, and that'll be the game that he plays. If he breaks down, but he'll start that game, I think, at Wembley, and we'll have a back three of Burns, Cher and Botman, no doubt. But we don't know what's going to happen at West Ham. We don't know who's going to be left back. Probably Tino Livramento, who's a great option. He's got pace. He can defend really well. With him and Barnes on the left-hand side, that's still a decent left-hand side. It's not like we're completely fucked and we haven't got anybody there. So let us know in the comments below what you think. Do you think Barnes is capable of stepping up, taking this chance? Will he do it? Will he get the goals? Will he help fire us to Carabao Cup glory and the Champions League place? Or do you think he'll shit the bed and he'll put in another mediocre performance? And would you rather have Joe Linton or Willock there? We always like to hear from you guys. Remember to like and subscribe, help the channel grow. We're over 10,000 subs now. Keep us growing, guys. We'll come up with a 10,000 subscriber prize soon enough. I've got some better prizes working away in the background, so we'll make sure we do it. Get a prize draw for you to come out there as well. We'll be back, obviously, with the preview for the West Ham game. Mark will be back with the post-match because I'm away, but I will be watching in the boozer with a few beers in hand. Hopefully, I will be watching through me fingers. But keep it evermore until then, guys. Have a belter. See you later. Take it easy.